Welcome to problem number 10. In this video, we're going to find the surface area of a cone. And remember, the surface area is the area of the surfaces. So you might recall in the first PowerPoint video that we made with all the notes, if we unwrap the cone, what you're gonna find is you're gonna have a circle here. And this weird shape, it's kind of like if you've ever had a party hat and you kind of unwrapped the party hat, right? It's kind of this weird looking shape. So there's two shapes. The first one's easy. This is just a circle, right? So we know the area of a circle is pi r squared, pi r squared. And in this case, r, my radius, is 11. So part of my formula is pi times 11 squared, okay? Now this part is the weird part. The formula for this part is pi times r times L, but L stands for the slant height of the cone. Slant height means the height measured on a slant. So that is given by the 24.6. So pi times 11 times 24.6 gives me 850.11, okay? So that's the two surfaces. I add them together to get the amount of surface area of the entire thing. Now, just a quick note to point out, when I type these formulas in my calculator, I'm actually using the pi button on my scientific calculator. And you know pi is infinitely long, right? It never ends. So the calculator is using a bunch of digits, probably not infinitely many, but a bunch of digits to calculate pi. If you don't have a pi button or you're using more of like a simple calculator, just know that pi, or if you can't find the pi button, you can type in 3.14. Okay, that's a good approximation of pi. Those are the first two digits. And if you type in 3.14, your answers are going to be slightly different than mine because my calculator is just using a bunch more digits. So it's not to worry about it. It's just as long as your answer is close enough, we're good. On a test or quiz, I want you to show your work. And really the most important thing is for me to see you write out what you're doing. So the actual calculation is not as important. So don't worry if your calculation is off a little bit. It will be unless you're using the actual pi button. And also we might round differently, which further complicates things. So as long as you're generally doing the right process and you have roughly the same answer as me, we're good. Okay, so that's the cone, right? It's the circle plus the weird shape. Just make sure you have all that down. And then the final issue in this problem is the surface area of the sphere. Okay, now hopefully you remember watching that Edpuzzle video of peeling an orange, right? If you take an orange, which is a sphere, and you peel it, and you can actually fit the peels into 4 circles, right? Which is kind of neat. So if you like trace the orange, right, and make 4 of them, and undo the peels, they all fit into 4 circles, which is why the formula for the surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r squared. So this is actually kind of easy. All we need to really do is figure out what's the radius and then we plug it in. So just be careful here. The 16 yards is the diameter. So we know the radius is half of that, which is 8. So just make sure you put in the right radius. So 4 times pi times 8 squared. Again, depending on how you round and whether you use the actual pi button or 3.14, you're going to get something slightly different, but you should be getting roughly 804 yards squared.